Alfo yebetwa edisuane so senia munyina munim dada no. Subject matter ay kasafa ho ay who is your friend? Hena ene wadamfo. Why na friend say wadamfo? Why ena wone no eko enna ekra enna? Why na wo se wadono enti unte wo ho jai? Why ena asem ekire so a wo ka kire no emani tuufo? Who is your friend? Hena ene wadamfo. Na subject matter anase asem a ye bi say ye de ensenaho anase enyasie efri Bible mu a efa ayonkofa mienu a ekoso e wo twerese mu. Ayonkofa mienu yi eye David and Jonathan ayonkofa a ekoso e wo 1 Samuel. Ena Amnon and Jonadab ayonkofa a eno so ekoso e wo 2 Samuel. Na matwo ababa edwa kusi baabi a ohunu the efficacy and I said the outcome of the friendship that took place between David and Jonathan, and as well the friendship that took place between Amnon and Jonadab. Na enne me be born the tofa na me de masem esi ewo who is your friend so sha say David and Jonathan ayonkofa omunyaye no na eye ayonkofa eko adwenimutim na eye ayonkofa anibre otan enim na eye ayonkofa there was no enviness, there was no jealousy, so it never yielded up hatred. But you could see so clearly that the friendship that took place between Amnon and Jonadab was full of enviness and jealousy, so it made Amnon to hate. It made Jonadab to hate Amnon for no reason. Whilst David was protected by Jonathan, Jonadab was exposing Amnon. These are realities in life. Etomi bia utiminya damfu bia. So ya damfu pa obon ho ban. Empo baby unni. Empo baby unnuye. Empo baby ye ka wasem a wo a wode ho no ye ka wasem unni obi. But sa adamfo ebe gina ma wo. But sa adamfo ebe ka wasem ma wo. But sa adamfo ebe ko wachi. Na owia odimu asempa abrewo. Na adamfo boni die otia na wakana no atum. Na hwe abra Jonathan ejina ne papa Saul enim. Na Saul aboni dream pose David ejina ni nyam. David is taking up my glory here in Israel. Why? Because all the actions of David were so supernatural. Na anyoma David yero chese Nyankopon tumi Nyankopon bambo a e won so na ekese. So Saul hated David so much that he called his people and said this unto them. In the book of 1 Samuel, please read for me. 1 Samuel chapter 19 verse 1 to 7. Listen to the statement that Saul made in the presence of Jonathan his son and before his soldiers, and look at how excellent Jonathan handled this matter as far as his friend David is concerned. The question is, true friendship are always there to defend and to protect. True friendship will never ever let you down, whether in your presence or out of your presence. 1 Samuel chapter 19 verse 1 to 7. Shall we listen to the word of God?
1 Samuel chapter 19 verse 1 to 7. Na Saul kachire ne ba Jonathan ne nkoa yina say, "Wonkum David." Na so Saul ba Jonathan pe David asem say, na Jonathan ko kachire David say, "Major Saul re hwehwe wo ekum." Na afei kra wo hu afei kra wo hu anopa na tena kokoa bi mu yinta. Na medie mefiri edima kochina meja enchen wurem baby a wo no na mene meja aka wo ho asem na meti bribi a makama chiro verse 4
meti bia my day
makama chiro verse 4 na Jonathan ka chiro David ho asem pa chiro neja so na o ka chiro ne say emma ohene enye nakoa David ho bone na onye wo bone biara na nene ye enso ayewo yie na ode ne krato ne nsem kokum Philistine no na Ewurade di kunim kese ma Israel nyina amen
fesi wa mama the Bible show inti brofo no 1 Samuel chapter 19 verse 1 down to 7 or see and so speak to Jonathan and his son and to all his servants that they should kill David. Master, in the absence of David, Saul the king plotted this against Jonathan. Verse 2. But Jonathan, Saul's son, delighted much in David. Not Jonathan, any David ayonkufano. Not a ayonkufa ohucha. Not a ayonkufa otai enimi. Let me give you a deep secret here. Jonathan was the king's son. So Jonathan was the prince. David was an ordinary shepherd who was shepherding his father's flock. But you could see, irrespective the level of Jonathan, because the friendship that took place between Jonathan and David was a real type of friendship. Friendship that is transparent. Friendship that has no envy, friendship that has no jealous, friendship without hatred. Jonathan delighted in David so much. Who is your friend? Look at what you are doing to a friend. Look at what you are doing to a friend in his absence or in her absence. You stab your friend in the dark. You stab your friend in the dark. When the friend is not there to defend him or herself, look at the way you speak about him or her. You make him feel like you love him. You make her feel like you love her. But in the absence of the person, look at your reactions. When you meet him or her, you flatter him with words. You flatter her with words to make her feel as if you are her total or his total defense and protection. But in the absence of the person, look at your conduct. David was not there when Saul plotted to kill him. But listen, when Saul had called Jonathan, his son, when Saul had called the soldiers and speak to them, telling them that, listen to me, that guy called David, I don't want to see him alive. Get rid of that guy in my presence. Listen to what Jonathan did. Papa, so we could David. A true friendship does not care who is acting. A true friendship does not care where the information is coming from. Once the information is meant to offend or to hurt a friend, you got to stand for that particular friend. And that is a real friendship. And that is a true friend. But Jonathan, verse 2, but Jonathan, Saul's son, delighted much in David. And Jonathan told David. Jonathan went forth and exposed the secret of the father purported or intended to take the life of David. He exposed to David. Catch and say, hey, this is what my father have told his soldiers. This is what my father has said to his soldiers, that they should end your life. Me papa said, Nasra for no, and me, Jonathan and Kasapa, me wadam for no, or see him cool. But it cannot work. Then, saying, but Jonathan, Saul's son, delighted much in David. And Jonathan told David, saying, Saul, my father, seeketh to kill you. Now, therefore, I pray thee, take heed of yourself until the morning, and abide in a secret place, and hide yourself. Go and keep yourself in a secret corner. Then the verse 3, and I will go out and stand beside my father in the field where thou art, and I will commune with my father of thee. Now my name papa be do him komo. Just to get his mind off that evil intention about you. You rather push evil into people about a friend. You rather put evil into people about a friend, someone you call your friend, but you are always stabbing him, you are always stabbing her in the dark, and he or she doesn't know where his source of hatred and enviness are coming from, but you are the one. Therefore, and Jonathan speak good of David unto Saul his father. Oh, this is a true friendship. This is a real friend. O say na Jonathan ko kai ni papa David tene ne yo ma pa. O say, hey papa David onye ni papa ni you. You see, Jonathan was doing his best to get rid of his father's intention to kill David and get his father's interests in David, or David's interest in the father. So he went forth for them and speak good of David unto Saul his father, and said unto him, let not the king sin against his servant, against David, because he has not sinned against you, and because his works have been to thee word very good. For he did put his life in his hand and slew the Philistines, and the Lord wrought a great salvation for all Israel. Thou sawest it and did rejoice. Wherefore then wilt thou sin against innocent blood to slay David without a cause? Can you defend a friend like this in his absence? Can you defend a wife like this in her absence? Can you defend a husband like this in his absence? What do you do to a friend who is your friend? Look at the way you talk about a friend to the boss. Look at the way you talk about a friend to the husband. Look at the way you talk about a friend to the wife. Why? Because you envy the marriage, you envy the work, you envy the position. You just want to take up that which belongs to him or her. But you deliberately act as if you are a friend. This is an eye-opening message. Who is your friend? Jonathan defended David in the presence of his father. Don't end that gentleman's life, please. Don't kill him. I beg your pardon. Are you able to defend a friend? Are you able to speak good of a friend? When people are planning against a friend, are you able to stand in the gap? And above all, to disclose the information to the friend. What Timmy will catch you down for? Say, hey, shall we ha? Jonathan ne papa wo ne ba wiase e pese obeye Israel hene e sanse ne papa na na edi ade, but Jonathan who say adede ne David na ne dia o say da me no nya adwene me ko ma David. Why? Because Jonathan loved David and they became friends. When the father had even purported to kill David, Jonathan was defending, exposing the father at all times to David. That is a real friendship. Who is your friend? Hena ne wadanfo. Why now friend is a wadanfo? How do you treat a friend? Are you a traitor? Then come to the verse 6. And Saul hearkened unto the voice of Jonathan. Jonathan was able to convince the father and took out of the heart and out of the mind that murder spirit, that murder attitude, that murder act, the wrath that had come upon Saul. Jonathan maneuvered, or you know, David was sempa, and Saul, as I do David. Are you able to speak well of a wife to the husband so that the marriage can be restored? Are you able to speak well of a friend to the wife so that the marriage can be restored? Are you able to speak well of a friend to the boss so that work can go on? Or you are a traitor? Jonathan protected and defended David. Jonathan stood for David to see the glorious end of David. Jonathan said to himself, I will, as long as I live, David, I will make sure you become the king of Israel. Can you tell a friend I will make you become whom you want to be. I will make sure this marriage lasts forever and ever. Can you tell a friend? Are you indeed a friend? You see someone married happily, you step into the marriage and look at what you are causing. Look at what you are creating. You just became a friend. They are already married. And you are now damaging the marriage just because you are envying, you are jealous, and it has caused hatred in your heart. Now, so in the verse 7, Jonathan called David, and Jonathan called David, and Jonathan showed him all those things. So Jonathan said everything to David. I have convinced my father. I have spoken to my daddy. My daddy is now calm. He will not kill you again, okay? David, relax your nerves. Now where you went to hide, I want you to come home. Listen, and Jonathan brought David to Saul. Bonsem or dem or David. Bonsem or dem or Jonathan. Bonsem or dem or Emma Jonathan, mommy. Me say bonsem Emma Jonathan. This is what we call a true friendship. One who repairs, one who restores, one who establishes. Nia wo siesia de Emma ne kama. Nia wo send pantem. Nia wo show yon command ko uwum. Nia wo bopo bone esa ani bretan tanti. Obi aso akache ne ba Jonathan say, David me kuno edna se na serafo nyina nsa. Se mo so David mu a mo tete ne na mane. Jonathan was able to restore. Jonathan was able to repair. Jonathan was able to establish. What a glorious friendship. Who is your friend? Are you a real friend to someone? Are you indeed a friend? We are done for. We are done for. He said, your tongue will be also done for. Eddie Jessica. Jonathan. And Jonathan brought David to Saul, and he was in his presence as in time past. So he restored the friendship, he restored the intimacy, he restored the joy, he restored the previous rapport that was between his father. That was between his father. Mommy, can't you know? Verse 6 and 7, mommy.
Verse 6.
Na
Saul tie Jonathan.
And Saul, tie Jonathan,
Na Saul ka entam say, Erade tie asie, wori nku no da. Na Jonathan verse.
Erade tie asie
wori nku no da.
Nku da David. Me am kan ye kra me twam. Why?
Verse 7. Na Jonathan frɛ David, na Jonathan ka ensam ni nyina kyerɛ no. Ena Jonathan ne David ba Saul nkyɛn na obetena n'anim sɛ kane no. Amen.
Amen. Eti Jonathan akon aboa ama David awie. Na Jonathan akon bibia egu ho ema David awie no. Now David na ya hyehyɛ to ama no sɛ ɛsɛsɛ oba eba na obedi ade. So in the chapter 2 of 2 Samuel, David was anointed the king over Israel after the death of Saul. After the death of Saul, David was then anointed the king. Mamika, 2 Samuel chapter 2 verse 1 and 2. Mamika.
2 Samuel chapter 2 verse 1 and 2.
Yeah, read the verse 1 and then jump to verse 4. Quick one.
2 Samuel chapter 2 verse 1. Na yei echiri no. David bisa Erade say.
Good.
Memfro enko Judah inkro bi mu ana. Verse 4.
Yeah.
Na Erade ka kire no say. Froko.
Good.
Na David ka say. Ehe na memfro nkro.
Yeah.
Na osi Hebron.
Okay.
Verse 4.
20 verse 4.
Ena Judah emerima ba besra David ngo say. See Judah fie so hene wo ho. Amen.
Omba no mesra David ngo. Jonathan fought for David until David's destined, purposed mission in life came to pass. Do you help friends to achieve their dreams and destiny in life? Obeye obi adamfo no okoye no nia wanya dada no wasɛ no ana waboa amana konanim. Obeye obi adamfo no ne kuta no waboa amana konanim ana wabrɛ na se. Jonathan eboa David ema ne beye Israel hene. Na David beye hene wiye no 2 Samuel chapter 9 ma me kan verse 1 ekɔ na yɛntie asɛm ɛwɔ hɔ when David became the king over Israel.
2 Samuel chapter 9 verse 1. Na David can say,
ɛna David bie n'ano abra David ababɛyɛ Israel hene na ɔdi adeɛ no Bible sɛ ɛna David bie n'ano ka sɛ deɛ ma
obi da so wɔ hɔ a waka Saul fie na Jonathan intimeye no adoye.
What see? And David said, is there yet any that is left of the house of Saul, that I may shew him kindness for Jonathan's sake? A true friend is not forgetful. O Adam phobia bua anwene unya baby pagina on where you nama. David is now showing to Jonathan that I am not a traitor, minyi pama, and I am not hypocrite, minyi buniaye. Even when Jonathan had died and left the scene, the friendship that was between David and Jonathan was so real that Jonathan asked in Israel that does no one exist in the generation of Saul that for the sake of Jonathan I may show some love. This is real friendship. When a friend had fought for you, say Adam Phobi come out na unya baby jina na sa Adam Phobi Adam Phobi pa masa enye ho na feel free phone na chale my busy me free wa chire why after free phone na on fa ringi na si okunu ho ama wa bro we biao amo dru baby kweta ma unya visa a unya plane ticket hwe Adam free baby ana woni nam hweta ma open visa hweta ma unya admission now school fees are a problem hwe Adam free yeah hweta ma unya adwuma nanso baby a obeda enti na ye problem e say na Adam free gi wo enne wa ye manager enne wa ye MD enne what break it through life hwe ne wo de ye wo nipa no wo so wasene who is your friend hena no adamfo. So David said in the chapter 9 of 2 Samuel verse 1, and David said, is there yet any that is left of the house of Saul that I may shew him kindness for Jonathan's sake? Then verse 2, and there was of the house of Saul a servant whose name was Ziba. Na akwaba ku bi was Sophia, your friend Ziba. And when they called him unto David, you call for Ziba, and then David no. Then Ziba said to the king, and when they had called Ziba unto David, the king said unto him, are you Ziba? And he said, thy servant is he, I am Ziba. Verse 3. Then David went on further and said, is there not yet any of the house of Saul that I may shew the kindness of God unto him? And Ziba said unto the king, Jonathan had yet a son, which is a lamb. Oh Jesus Christ, upon all the love Jonathan showed to David, Jonathan echo mano ne ba owo no nso na oyibubu ani enti Jonathan so oni papa kokon na Jonathan ko wiye Jonathan awu ne ba ni hope na wiye nyina sa. But David, a real friend, David, a true friend, sat down and said, is there no one in the generation of Saul that I, David, may show some kindness, peradventure or by virtue of the young man Jonathan, who is a real friend to me? And this servant Ziba said, you have asked a brilliant question, King. As I'm talking to you now, it is left with just one person, and that person too, you have shown real love to Jonathan. Is Jonathan's own seed, Jonathan Yamba, Jonathan Asinimupa, Jonathan in Toshoba, now so a branch in Virginia, where Bubuani, our Tikwanche, Sadia, or see, and the king said, is there not yet anyone of the house of Saul that I may show some kindness of God unto him? And Ziba said unto the king, Jonathan had yet a son. Jonathan, if you are so by the Baba, now a banish away, which is lame or on his feet. Mammy can't cheat in any decacra. Now,
so fear soon for be out. Woho na Nidin Siba. Now, Wakoshia no Manaba. And prayer, David Jay. Now, he never try and say, what is Siba? Now, or say, Wakuaneno, Vestere. Yeah, now David catcher and say, and David catcher Ziba say, or be in a hobby so fear. Nidin Yankupon adore ye. Oh, Jesus. Now, Ziba say, and Ziba Bossy, or any say. Jonathan Baberi might be that so or Jonathan Baberi Assassin, Apache, Nelson on Nanti. And David Cadage then got. Now, I ain't catcher and say, and David catcher and say, oh, he, oh, Naziba catcher and say, catcher or say, and Naziba catcher, there is a share, or Amir Ba Makir Fee, or Lodiba. Now, or Hene Sumama or Kofano Amir Ba. Makio fie ami oba makio fie wo lodi babai na so ba Jonathan ba Mephibosheth drew David in chain na so ba set me di and Mephibosheth drew David in chain na dey drew David in chain or the nenim butu fem koto no na Mephibosheth na ni butu fem koto na ko na David catcher and say na David catcher Mephibosheth say Mephibosheth na o say wakoani o say na pacho wakoana enyu ko na David catcher and say na David catcher Mephibosheth say insuro na waja Jonathan insi o papa Jonathan ade wa yama me ye wadoye hey o papa Jonathan inti me ye wadoye wo bia bua wonya ba bia si enne ne ho hihia ne kakra ne bakure ko school or the nebana sedaba be chiao odofo me be nya admission kakra bi ko tua when you wodi ye no. Who is your friend? Is your friend a Jonathan type or a Jonadab type? When Jonathan was fighting for David to accomplish his ambitions in life, look at what Jonadab was doing to Amnon. From the 2 Samuel, count 2 Samuel, chapter 13, read verse 28 and 32. Before then, read chapter 13, verse 4 to 5. And look at how Jonadab could lure David because of enviness. Jonadab envied Amnon. Jonadab envied Amnon because Amnon was the king's son. And yeah, Obi awari weni breno, Obi adwuma weni breno, Obi kunu weni breno, Obi yiri weni breno, Obi akontu awo koba weni breno, Obi bibi kakra woye weni abusue bi obi film. Enu ntihwade a wodi ye onyonko frɛ ne sa adamfo. Read it for me. 2 Samuel chapter 13 verse 4 and 5. Click. Now okachire no say, adenti na wo ohene ba mu wo from say da anope. When Jonathan heard of issues about David, okachire no. When David had issues, he confined in Jonathan okachire no. Jonathan okachire Amnon say Jimmy di na ka wo hia asem kire me. And okachire Amnon say adena wa wo ohene ba de ya wo fon. Tie adena, why you the king's son? You are always withering. Also tia na why? Fast. Worrying can't share me. Tell me your problems. Quick one. Amnon catch you and say. And then Amnon said to Jonathan, me perminia Absalom near Batama. Charlie, near Batama, me pesame nene da. Pesame wono. Me pesame fano. We are down for na ampa we true friend. Na wadan for kasa se becho sa kono boni fun tantan we na we uramia. Masa efutu ben na de be mano. Enka be catch say Charlie, mambo na fasting 7 days bi near kono beti akwa. Meboa. Charlie, let us try some 3 days fasting and see. Let us try some 5 days fasting. This thing is dangerous. We must cast this last out of you. Into a buano, a country in Bible. Shadia Jonathan catch Amnon. Na Jonadab catcher and say
fast
na Jonadab catcher and say
and na Jonadab catcher Amnon say
Sheda won paso
Sheda koda won paso
na petu yare
na Sheda petu yare
na se waja behwewa
an evil friend, a friend that will hate your success, a friend that hates your position, a friend that hates your marriage because of enviness and jealousy. Unto for that. Onka ukuna semun chire no mani nyaboten ka onimdi ensem da. Onka woyira semun chire no mani nyaboten ka onimdi asem da. Onka boss asemun chire no mani nyaboten ka onimdi asem da. Every time the foot of the moon, you know, your foot to a do course saying, na Jonadab catch Amnon say, Petu yari, Sheda, Petu, so you know, now you got fast.
Na waja na se waja behwewa
na oda bams and you now papa besrawa.
Catcher and say,
Catch your papa say,
ma minia tama emrambe mami aduane
Maminia Tama, Emra no Median, Mamini.
na onye aduane no menim enso
Not only a Diana Almanin and so quite.
na mi hunu
Ah,
na mi hunu
ah,
na mi ni no nsem
ah,
verse 28
ah,
verse 28 enso na Absalom ahye ne mrantie say
and John, a boy dream power ha. A cast of Bonnie which say Jonadab, Amnon we no. Amnon so enti wa you. Oh, you will nipa be at the photo for only you. Ah, Charlie now was some mechanic for 1 yard. O two ni fu ye pet. Ma make a kind verse 14. O two ni kwasi futu ye pet. Amnon koye no koye yen.
verse 14
aha.
nanso one person otie no
Aha.
na enam say ne ho ye den sin
And now say Amnon ne what they say Tama nti ko
obre no ase ne
o
da
chire Tama and na wone ne dae and na wo fa no enti Jonadab nkwa sie futuo no a wo de ma Amnon no Amnon anwen ho koye pe no koye ye abra Jonathan ebo David wo ban no na Jonadab expose Amnon to disaster enti sam kwa sie futuo ya Jonadab de ma Amnon enti hwene to Amnon verse 28 no ka ho
verse 28
yeah
afi Absalom share na somfo no say
enti Amnon edisa kwa sase mweti Tama Tama so ye Absalom nua be ma penin what I say Absalom Tama nua be ma penin enti Absalom tie no say I'll retaliate for you just keep cool Amnon na ye na de enti ho na Absalom body trim say ye go
say mu say Amnon ensa amaneni aje
se mu say Amnon anum nsama na ni age bedwem kwen
na me catch am say
na me catch am say
munkum Amnon
na
sabre no na munkum
sabre na mo de munkum abra Absalom ebo ni trim owuo po we senya Saul bo ni trim owuo po editia David no Jonathan wo ko catch David no na Absalom su gina ho na Jonadab ejina ha o na Absalom ebo ni simple so be ku ni nia Amnon enam se wa hye ni nia ba Tama ne nada but when timi ankoka nkyere no adentia na ewo na adwi mu se nia wo hwehwe no no me pese mi musa branti we yekuno me pese mi musa won tiase bium na evidence ni nie kan verse 32 no na ya say abra Absalom ebo ni simple so be ku Amnon no na Jonadab who calls himself a friend to Amnon was indeed there or not. Verse 32, quick one.
Verse 32.
Yes.
Now so David nua see me abayo Jonadab. Kan say. Emami ra enwen say ohene emamrante no nyina na wokunkum. Amnon enkuto na wowu.
Amnon pen yakunu ho.
If he say. Absalom na ohye say wonkum. Absalom
na share see yonku Amnon.
Na obo poi fida a obre ni nuabia Tama asen.
Obo poi fida ben.
Bre a Obopoi Frida a obre ni nuabia Tama ase.
Enti adanu a Absalom ti say Amnon anytime ada obosa pon so be kuno na Jonadab gina ho. Jonadab entimi am be kan kire Amnon say unua Absalom o frefro kukuoma enko oyedi because na ni o hwe no ni o hwehwe ha ni say yibe kum Amnon ampani ampa Jonadab tini ye bold enough emma obi ehun say epo bone na Absalom boy no obi And Jonadab, the son of Shemaiah, David's brother, answered and said, let not my lord suppose that they have slain all the young men, the king's sons. For Amnon only is dead. For by the appointment of Absalom, his death, this has been determined from the day that he forced his sister Tamar. And Absalom, yeah, na so obeku David no, obeku Amnon no. Na Ujaf, Jonadab will be. But this is a bad friend. A bad friend. Jonadab was indeed a bad friend to Amnon. He envied Amnon's position as the king's son. He envied Amnon as the prince. He envied Amnon's wealth and success. And he envied Amnon's future. Because he knew he could become the king for the future. So he intended to finish the guy. But Jonathan was a real friend. He protected David. He coached David. He guided and guarded David until David became the king of Israel. Jonathan shielded David to become the king in Israel. Jonadab exposed Amnon till he was murdered, killed, and then he was happy. Who is your friend? Is your friend a Jonathan type or a Jonadab type? This is my piece of advice. God bless you.